All right, so who knows the memory verse? Or it's on the board if somebody wants to read it. What? Oh, I was going to say, yeah, we're still on 108. Ish. We're going to move into Nebuchadnezzar's second dream. There's so much in Daniel. We could stay in here all year, next year. We're not there yet. Somebody like to read the memory verse? Go ahead, Jason.
Therefore the Lord waits to be gracious to you, and therefore he exalts himself to show mercy to you. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all those who wait for him.
Very good. All right, so last week we didn't get very far. If you weren't here, we just did the Connect the Truth exercise. Promise of suffering. How to be prepared for suffering. Now, we don't go out and look for suffering, but if we are reviled, it should be for following Christ, not for acting ignorant or mean or all the other stuff we like to do.
I think there's a big difference between persecution and suffering.
Okay, well, what's the difference?
Well, persecution is usually caused by a human being. And to me, suffering could be anything. Living in poverty, have a disease that's incurable. I mean, none of those are caused by a human. There's a difference.
Okay. I'll agree with you on that.
Oh, my God.
Suffering can also come at the hands of human beings.
Well, I guess, but to me, that's more persecution.
I would put persecution as suffering for Christ's sake, but sometimes we can just suffer because we're mean or we're ignorant or the people we're around are mean or ignorant. See, look at this. It's a good day today.
You're getting that dialogue between the two.
And we're landing on the same page. That don't happen often. I should stop now. All right, so God humbles Nebuchadnezzar is where we're going to pick up. We've seen how God demonstrated his omniscience by protecting the three young men from unrighteous persecution. God protected his people even under captivity. And why were they under captivity? They sinned. They messed up. So they were under God's wrath, and he still protected them from persecution. So now let's see how God demonstrates his sovereignty over the very king that he used to bring this judgment upon Israel. So Daniel chapter 4. I'll read the first 18 verses. I know yours just says 4 through 18, but being that we went, yeah, but we break that into 4 segments, I think. So, since we've been breaking this over several weeks, we'll get the context. Verse 1, I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at ease in my house and prospering in my palace. I saw a dream that made me afraid. As I lay in bed, the fancies and the visions of my head alarmed me. So I made a decree that all the wise men of Babylon should be brought before me, that they may make known to me the interpretation of the dream. Then the magicians, the enchanters, the Chaldeans, and the astrologers came in, and I told them the dream, but they could not make known to me its interpretation. At last, Daniel came in before me, he who was named Belshazzar, after the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And I told him the dream, saying, O Belshazzar, chief of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in you, and that no mystery is too difficult for you, Tell me the visions of my dream that I saw and their interpretation. The visions of my head as I lay in bed were these. I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and its height was great. The tree grew and became strong, and the top reached the heavens, and it was visible to the ends of the whole earth. Its leaves were beautiful, and its fruit abundant, and in it was food for all. The beasts of the field found shade under it, and the birds of heaven lived in its branches, and all flesh was fed from it. I saw in the visions of my head as I lay in bed, and behold, a watcher, a holy one, came down from heaven. He proclaimed aloud and said thus, chop down the tree and lop off its branches, strip off its leaves and scatter its fruit. Let the beasts flee from under it and the birds from its branches. But leave the stump of its roots in the earth, bound it with a band of iron and bronze, amidst the tender grass of the field. Let him be wet with the dew of heaven. Let his portion be with the beast in the grass of the earth. Let his mind be changed from the man's, and let the beast mind be given to him. And let 7 periods of time pass over him. The sentence is by the decree of the watchers, the decision by the word of the holy ones, to the end that the living may know that the Most High rules the kingdom of men, and give to whom he will, and sets over it the lowest of men. This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, saw, and you, O Belshazzar, tell me the interpretation, because all the wise men of the kingdom are not able to make known to me the interpretation. But you are able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in you. So there's a change in the book of Daniel. Who is writing this section? It's not Daniel. Yeah. Nebuchadnezzar's the author of this section. He is the one speaking. So what was it that vexed the king? He had a dream. Not his first dream, but he had another one. And none of the wise men could interpret it. How does Nebuchadnezzar address Daniel? What's he call him? Belshazzar. What's Belshazzar mean? Who's Bel, I guess? He's a Babylonian god. One of Nebuchadnezzar's gods. Went over that when we changed all their names. He also addresses him as the one with the special ability to interpret dreams, because this wasn't the first dream Daniel had interpreted. Nebuchadnezzar would have been familiar with Daniel's ability because he did the statue. When he wouldn't even tell people the dream, Daniel was able to not only tell them what he dreamt, but what it meant. Notice that he again goes to all the magicians for answers before Daniel gets told the dream. He's always going to his guys first. Because he wants to believe his gods are powerful. So he goes to the priests of his god, the magicians, the sorcerers, the Chaldeans, all the people that should speak from his gods. And they're all silent. Why? Astrologers. Back then, I mean, they documented it all the way back 4,000 or 5,000 years. They followed the stars. Terry did an interesting study in Women's Bible Study 2 years ago when all the zodiac signs before they were zodiac, were tribes of Israel. There was a star sign for each tribe of Israel out of the Bible. It was neat. And God tells us to look to the heavens for stars and signs. What was one of the biggest signs in the heaven that God gave us that we were following that would have been astrology?
And they didn't make the astrologers and the interpreters of dreams the same.
Different.
Very different.
Yep. I didn't answer yet, but you guys answered. The Star of David, when Jesus was born, that they followed, that was an astronomical sign that the wise men followed to find Jesus. We've taken astrology and twisted it into something evil, like it tells us what our fortune's going to be for the day, which is the wrong way to do it. But astrology in itself is not bad. And read the book of Revelation. There is tons of star signs in the book of Revelation that we're supposed to look for. It is, what we've turned it into is pagan. But we always do that. We take a little bit of the truth and mix a whole lot of error in so that you don't know the real truth.
We do that?
As a human, yes. As a society, whatever you want to look at it.
Or is there a Christian meaning behind each sign?
There's a Jewish meaning behind each one. I'm not going to go into Revelation because we won't make it through Daniel chapter 4, but there's a lot of star signs in it. The moon will turn to blood. There's the woman that gives birth. There's the dragon. There's the serpent. These are all star signs that are in the constellations that are always there for the last 6,000 years.
So when Nebuchadnezzar's talking here, he's still saying, I call him Belteshazzar after the name of my God, and the spirit of the holy gods is in him.
Mhm.
So sounds to me like he's repentant, yet we're acknowledging one God, or is that just where he is in his story?
Yeah. So the question is, why is he still talking about my gods and Daniel serves multiple holy gods? No, he has not come to faith in the one true God yet. He will actually come to faith at the end of what happens from this dream. When he is an animal for 7 years and finally looks up and declares there is only one God. But it takes 7 years of him given the mind of an animal for him to humble himself enough to say that. So at this point, he's lost. He just knows something's different about Daniel. But he's not willing to say Daniel serves the one and only true God, because that would mean all of his gods are fake. And he's not there yet.
I just wonder if he's retelling his story to people. I was confused that he would still say the spirit of the holy gods is in him. If he's retelling it, I wondered why he didn't say the God.
I think he's quoting exactly what happened at that time. He's just being honest and open of what he said and how he felt. Yeah, he thinks Daniel's God is just another one among many at this point. So he doesn't, like we would often do, church it up and say, well, I learned my lesson and let's write that back into this point in my life. He says, no, at this point in my life, I had none of it. So whether he was confident in Daniel's ability or just desperately hopeful is unclear. He knows Daniel did it once, but he doesn't go to Daniel first. If I knew I had somebody in my circle that could tell me the actual interpretation of dreams, I'd go to him first. Nebuchadnezzar does not. So we don't know if he just thinks it was a one-off fluke for Daniel and now he's desperate, he's going to try it again, or if he just was hopeful that his gods could tell him the answer without having to go to Daniel's.
I think maybe he had other dreams along the way too that they were able to.
Yes. Yeah. They've probably interpreted 50 dreams of his by now, because this was common back then. A king would have a dream and the people would tell him the answer to the dream. Usually it was a lie. You know, you had a dream that you had a big feast at the table. They tell you you're going to have a good crop this year, O king. They have no idea. They're just spewing nonsense. But
Maybe Daniel was off on some mission, because it does say finally, or at last, Daniel came into my presence.
yeah,
So maybe he called them in.
and Daniel could have been away serving somewhere else. But what phrase does he repeat 3 times describing Daniel? Verse 8, verse 9, and verse 18. The spirit of the holy gods. Some translations just make it the spirit of the holy God. This one's closer to accurately translating it. Holy gods. So he does recognize that Daniel has a special gift. At least he's hopeful he does. Any questions on the first 18? Anybody know what the dream means before we jump into it? Huh? He's going to lose his mind. It's a good way to sum it up. Let's look at 19 through 27. Then Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, was dismayed for a while, and his thoughts alarmed him. The king answered and said, Belshazzar, let not the dream or its interpretation alarm you. Belshazzar answered and said, My lord, may the dream be for those who hate you, and its interpretation for your enemies. The tree you saw, which grew and became strong, so that it reached to heaven, and is visible to the ends of the whole earth, whose leaves were beautiful and its fruit abundant, and in which in which was food for all, under which beasts of the field found shade, and in whose branches the birds of heaven lived. It is you, O king, who have grown and become strong. Your greatness has grown and reaches to heaven, and your dominion to the ends of the earth. And because the king saw a watcher, a holy one, coming down from heaven and saying, Chop down the tree and destroy it, but leave the stump of its roots in the earth. Bound it with a band of iron and bronze in the tender grass of the field, and let him be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 periods of time pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king. It is a decree from the Most High, which has come upon my lord the king, that you shall be driven from among men, and your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. You shall be made to eat grass like an ox, and you shall be wet with the dew of heaven, and 7 periods of time shall pass over you, till you know that the Most High rules the kingdom of men, and gives it to whom he will. And as it was commanded to leave the stump of the roots of the tree, your kingdom shall be confirmed for you, from the time that you know that heaven rules. Therefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable to you. Break off your sins by practicing righteousness, and your iniquities by showing mercy to the oppressed, that there may perhaps be a lengthening of your prosperity. So why is Daniel dismayed? Who wants to give bad news to a king? It usually does not go well for the person who's telling you the news. You'll get the idea that Daniel actually likes Nebuchadnezzar as you read the book of Daniel. Why, I don't know. I mean, Nebuchadnezzar kidnapped him, took him out of Israel, made him a slave. But Daniel seems to authentically care about him every time he interacts with him. So what's the tree represent? Yeah, king, the king. It represents Nebuchadnezzar himself. Nebuchadnezzar has grown great in the earth. The height reaching all the way to heaven means there's nobody greater on earth than him. The fact that the branches spread across the whole earth means he has dominion over the whole earth. I guess first let's deal with what's a watcher? It's an angel, yep. So what did the angel's statement mean? So what the angel says, he's going to chop down the tree, he's going to leave the root, he's going to destroy the branches, drive everybody out. He's telling Nebuchadnezzar he's going to take you from the throne and put you in the field. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. He's going to take you from the highest place in the realm to cattle, and you're going to live with the oxes. For a period of 7, which 7 means what in the Bible? Completion. That completion will come with Nebuchadnezzar finally confessing the Most High. So you're going to be out there 7. The period of time 7 is more than likely 7 full years, 7 actual years. So what's the desired outcome of the judgment? What's the purpose of it? I just kind of gave it away. To make him come to know the one true God. We still see God do the same thing today, though maybe not this extravagant, but he'll take somebody and break them down to completely nothing. They'll take everything away from somebody to get them to call on the name of the Lord. Sometimes that's what it takes, is to take everything away. That's why I tell it to people all the time. I pray you come to faith before God takes everything from you, because he will take everything. If he's going to call you and you won't listen, you'll lose it all until you have nothing left to do like Nebuchadnezzar but cry out to the name of the Lord. Did the dream leave any hope for Nebuchadnezzar? Did it leave any hope for him? The stump and the roots were left, and Daniel interpreted that to mean that when you come to your senses, O king, your kingdom will be there for you. It's not all over. Yeah. It will be that of an animal for those 7 years.
It doesn't tell us who ruled the kingdom. He wasn't able.
No, he wasn't able, so somebody stepped up. I forget in history who steps in, but in history it tells us. So what advice does Daniel give him? Yeah, to repent, to turn away from your sin, to show mercy to the poor and the downtrodden, to seek God before it's too late. Let's see if he listens. Verses 28 through 33. All this came upon King Nebuchadnezzar at the end of 12 months. So from the time of the dream, it's been 1 year. So he had 12 months to fix himself and didn't. He had 12 months to listen to Daniel and didn't. And now he thinks 12 months has gone by, nothing's going to happen. He's just back to his normal old self. And at the end of 12 months, he was walking on the roof of the royal palace of Babylon, and the king answered and said, Is not this great Babylon, which I have built by my mighty power as the royal residence for the glory of my majesty? While the words were still in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven. O King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it was spoken. The kingdom has departed from you, and you shall be driven from among men, and your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. And you shall be made to eat grass like an ox, and 7 periods of time shall pass over you, until you know that the Most High rules the kingdom of men, and gives it to whom he will. Immediately the word was fulfilled against Nebuchadnezzar. He was driven from among men, and he ate grass like an ox, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hair grew long as eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. He got to the point where he was far enough away from the dream that he thought Daniel was wrong, and opens his mouth like we all tend to. Can't pick on Nebuchadnezzar. First question is, did Nebuchadnezzar repent like Daniel asked him to? Nope. Notice the statement in verse 30. In what 2 ways does Nebuchadnezzar demonstrate his pride? Talking about his town, how did he say it? By whose power was it built? By my power. What else? Yeah, he glorified himself by it. By his majesty, all this stuff was done. He was claiming his spot above God's. So what happens when he makes that proclamation? Yep, God says, nope. You'd been warned. And you still did it. The voice spoke from heaven, confirming the fulfillment of the dream. Nebuchadnezzar gets driven out of the castle into the fields to live like an animal, eat grass like an ox. So much so that his hair grows long as eagle feathers and his nails like claws, and his body wet with the dew of heaven. He became so wild, they couldn't even cut his hair or trim his nails while he was out there. Because he wouldn't let anybody near him. He's like a wild animal now. So he went from this clean, polished king of the earth to a ragless, homeless, long fingernail, long-haired hippie eating grass in a field.
Why wouldn't, did he have sons?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't they just lock him in the palace somewhere?
They probably wanted the kingdom for themselves, so they probably didn't want to lock him up. Just let him go. Now we get to run things. It sounds odd for us, but look at the high and powerful. They don't find it that odd. They'll gladly get rid of daddy as long as it means I can reign. They don't have that same bond, it seems like, once you get into the rich and powerful. That bond is not there. It's all about money, power, and prestige. And it's still that same way today. Yep. Power and prestige means more to them than anything else. So they're probably happy to let him run in the fields. So let's look at 34 through 37. And we'll go back to verses 1 through 3. At the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted my eyes to heaven, and my reason returned to me. And I blessed the Most High, and praised and honored him who lives forever. For his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom endures from generation to generation. All the inhabitants of the earth are accounted as nothing, and he does according to his will among the host of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth. And none can stay his hand or say to him, what have you done? At that same time, my reason returned to me, and for the glory of my kingdom, my majesty and my splendor returned to me. My counselors and my lords sought me, and I was established in my kingdom. and still more greatness was added to me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, for all his works are right and his ways are just, and those who walk in pride he is able to humble. Go back to verses 1 through 3. King Nebuchadnezzar, to all the peoples, nations, and languages that dwell on the earth, peace be multiplied to you. It seemed good to me to show you the signs and wonder that the Most High God has done for me. How great are his signs, how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion endures from generation to generation. So how did this change Nebuchadnezzar's experience? This whole experience, how did it change him? It humbled him. True God. Yep. He,
Even though he's acknowledging that, I don't see it saying that he gets rid of all that idolatry.
he probably doesn't. We don't. I won't pick on anybody. We go through this room, we all have our idols we still hold on to. We still have those ones we don't want to let go.
I don't think it was hard for him after this episode to finally admit God has the authority.
Yeah. Yeah. He just got done praising himself as all powerful, and he wakes up 7 years later and realizes he ain't.
God doesn't like braggers.
No, God does not like pride at all. What difference did you notice between the verb tense used in verses 30 and 36? In verse 30, he was talking about his kingdom. The whole my. And then go to 36, and who's he attribute everything to? Him. Yep. He finally gets humbled and realizes all that he has is but a gift. We often think we own things. In reality, we're just stewards of things. God owns them all. We get to steward it. We either steward it correctly or incorrectly. And God can take it anytime he wants. It was never yours to begin with. Nebuchadnezzar found that out the hard way when he lost everything. This is a man that probably in his life never suffered a hardship before this time. Think about it. I mean, he conquered the world. Nothing stopped him. This is the first thing to ever actually slow him down, and it slowed him down for 7 years. That'll humble you quick. So Nebuchadnezzar bracketed this whole account that he tells in Daniel with praising God at the beginning and praising God at the end, and telling you in the center how he got there. But notice the depth of his praise. The king now offered the God he once demanded. He attributed to him the greatness, the might, the eternal dominion, the justice, the omniscience, and the sovereignty. God allowed Nebuchadnezzar to obtain great might so that he could fulfill the purpose he had for Nebuchadnezzar to do, which was conquer the whole world and Israel and punish them for their sin, but then he humbles him thereafter. He is sovereign over everything. So when I say we complain about this leader and that leader, they're all there for a reason, good or bad, whether you like them or can't stand them. They are there for a reason, because they can't be a leader unless somebody puts them there. And who's the somebody? God. So whether our president, another country's president that we think is, they're there for a reason. God has placed them there for something. because God is sovereign over everything. Questions about this dream? No? This is a section of Daniel that makes me think Nebuchadnezzar's saved. That I get to ask him all these questions I have for him when I meet him. Because he finally does cry out. But like Peggy said, I don't think he gives away all his idols. I think he holds on to them. But so do we.
Because I was really struggling whether or not he was getting
Yep. If you boil it all down and take away everything, we have our own. Mom, you want to close us in prayer?